You need to go with them.
What's that? Good morning, good morning. My name is Jennifer Town.
And I'm Darlene Rambo.
And please grab your coffee if you're out there. And I love Brief Talk so much because this is where we come live every Wednesday at 10:15 to share lessons learned through life and loves. And it's been such a great month for us here, getting ready with EAL, Horse Connection, and that has been our theme. We realized or learned that most people actually don't know what EAL is. So we made it a theme. And Darlene has been so busy hauling horses, setting them up, and getting ready for the open house. So that's our theme. And Darlene, how was your weekend? Please tell us your experience about getting ready for Horse Connection.
Wow, I spent a lot of time outdoors. So we're painting fences and moving rails and putting in gates. So it's been a busy weekend. But we've also had some great times with our associates, so the people who are going to be helping us out, part of our team. So we had a great training a couple weeks ago, and we've just been connecting. And we're going to have another one on Friday to get ready for our open house. The horses are settled. This is the second season they're back at the same place, and so they've been just eating grass. Yeah, they've been eating grass. But we've got to do some riding. We had a family come and just hang out with the horses, and so it's just been good to get ready, and they're all waiting for everybody to come.
I love it so much. So before I am watching because we have some friends who told us, please make sure when you go online, tag us, listen. So going online, making sure that we have our friends ready. So as we connect with our friends out there, please grab a coffee, invite a friend to join us. And meanwhile, we're gonna show you a quote that we truly love.
I'm gonna just quickly go. We're gonna just quickly again tell you a little bit about what equine assisted learning is, because everybody asks what's that. And so again, I have this from my site where I was certified. I'm just going to share a window.
Look at that, don't you love it?
I'm just going to share equine assisted learning. Is that showing up?
Let's see. Today we're going to learn all the technology.
So equine assisted learning, hopefully you can see the picture. But I love this. I love this motto. So EAL Canada, their model is changing lives through horses. So changing lives through horses. So again, you can see a picture. You can see that's one group session. So a lot of times we're just working with a horse. We're listening and communicating with a horse. And I love this definition. It's a communication between a horse and a human that brings about change in the human. So it changes lives. So really, we were going to talk about the impact. Again, the impact is that it's a experience. You come. It's not like sitting in an office. You come. You experience the outdoors. You experience the horses, and the horses communicate. And that's one of the big impacts that I'd really like to highlight today. And that is that listening. A horse listens and observes you, and again, when we're talking about grief and loss, lots of times we feel like we're not heard, or that we have to go grieve alone. We have to be by ourselves. So I'll share one more quote, just about listening.
How many of us have issues listening? I do have issues listening. And you know, when they talk about listening, it's just being present and not thinking about the response and not thinking about, because our minds do anyway. Don't get me excited about listening, darling. Let's go.
So I like to listen. I've learned a great deal from listening carefully. Most people never listen, and that's Ernest Hemingway. And so horses are great listeners. Like I have never, we can be distracted, we can be doing things, whatever they're doing, they're listening and paying attention to you. And they're communicating with you. And so that's the great thing about horses. The impact they have is that they're gonna communicate to you what they're hearing you say. And sometimes they find it hard to share also. So one of the other big impacts about horses is sometimes it's hard to share. But sometimes if you can walk around and share with a horse first, and just have that great listener, that can have a huge impact on our ability to communicate what we're feeling and allow ourselves to feel. So one of the things we do with horses and grief is we just give you time to think about an event or a memory. And as you're thinking about that, you're talking to the horse, you're sharing it with the horse, you're getting it all out. Then if you want to share with us, that's the next step. But then you share with the horse, and then you write whatever you want to give away from release from that memory. We actually tie it or we put it on the horse, and then we have what you want to keep from that memory, and then we let the horse go. And so the bad things, what you want to let go of gets let go of, and then you also keep that connection. And it's a wonderful exercise. That's just one example of what we do with EAL and how a horse communicates. We stand afar as a coach, we can watch that horse. And that horse will sometimes circle around that person. That horse will get in between the coach and the person to protect the person. But that horse will communicate with the person who is experiencing this, and it often brings tears. It often brings just a great emotion, and I can just sit back from afar and watch how it impacts that person, to be able to let things go.
Darling, I love that so much. I love that so much because, again, Grief Café is where we share lessons learned through life and loss. And this is one of the resources that Darlene is an expert on EAL and the horse connection. And it is like even me watching you set up, watching the groups come and meet the horses. There's just something so powerful. And it's not only about connecting the horses, but it's also us learning how to listen by observing how the horses, right, do the listening.
Yeah.
So I think that's so powerful. And so with our grief resources that we create, it's not only about the horses, but it's also us learning from the horses.
Because again, whatever you apply, it teaches us to watch. And then how do we apply that to our relationships? How do we listen to other people? Do we just jump in? And so again, with a horse, you can just jump in and try to make it do what you want to do. Horses are good at not liking pressure, but it can show us how we're interacting with people, and it actually then impacts how we interact with other people. If we can find that connection with a horse, sometimes that's a gateway to finding that connection with the coach or with the other people in the group. And so I love groups. Again, even with horses, we love groups because then you're not only connecting to the horse, but you're connecting to another person. And we know we find healing in connection. And so we can, when we're all by ourselves, when we've been taught to pull back, not to share with people, we're never making that connection, and having somebody hear, whether it's a horse or a person, we're having somebody to hear what's going on in our hearts. And when we can make that connection and then extend it to the people around us, that's when healing comes.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And so we hope that if you're around our area, you can join us. I'm actually, even as we talk about this, I'm thinking, how could we bring horse connections online?
We could go live.
We could totally go live.
We could.
Okay, boom, light bulb.
Next week. No.
because we want our friends to experience what we're talking about. Because sometimes the wording, the talking, all this stuff, it would make sense. However, until you experience it.
Yeah.
So we will take you on a journey of experiencing horse connections here as we share. We'll be sharing our videos. We're sharing all the things we are doing. And I believe with the horse connection also gives us that opportunity to be outdoors,
Oh yes.
to be outside and enjoy the
Mhm.
nice weather, and to experience God's
Creation.
creation that we can enjoy and step back. And there's just one thing, darling, I also want to share about the horse heartbeat.
The heartbeat.
That
Yeah.
keeps coming back to me all the time because it gets me. We could be just be going well.
Mhm.
I mean, like we've had too much coffee,
Mhm.
and then we get to the horse. Please tell us what happens.
So horses have it's and it's called this. We call it kind of the sixth sense. So the sixth sense is they have electromagnetic field around, and it's generated by their heartbeat. So a horse's heartbeat is like very much slower than a human heartbeat. And so and horses they just have this huge magnetic field around it. It's like 40 to 50 feet. So it's a huge area that if you come into that area as a human, your heart you can feel your I don't know if we want to say spirit, but your heart lines up with their heart and actually will slow your heartbeat down. And that's why people will say like I was just out petting a horse and all of a sudden I was calm, anxiety, right? Went down, or I just walked to the field and all of a sudden I'm at peace. So a lot of our time is just spent near the horses. We don't have to even be doing anything with the horses. We can be watching them. We have groups where we just sit and the horses are just around us, and it brings this calming effect. And not only calming, there's something about a release that it opens us up for vulnerability. When we become calm, when we become just in that safe place, people often report they come and they all of a sudden will start crying, and all of a sudden, right, there's just all this emotion. We've had people who just walk into the bar, into the arena, and start crying, and they're like, what's that all about, right? But it's just that safe place where we release emotions. I went to EAL training, so a certification training, and we'd be doing sessions with each other, and like people would just be getting very emotional. I remember going to my first training and like being emotional, and it's just because we're in that vulnerable position. I don't know, it just opens us up in a safe place where we can start sharing those things that we pent up, those things that we don't tell other people. All of a sudden, come
Thank you, darling. Thank you for sharing. If there's one powerful experience for me personally that I've experienced is that after drinking too much coffee and I get too excited and I'm all over, I go to the horse connection and I'm like, so let's think about it. That's just my own thing. Not too much coffee. Life things happen and I'm all over and I need to calm down. I just go to the horse connection and somehow I'm able it's almost a time to reflect where your heart like everything slows down in slow motion without taking any drug. And you're able to reflect with what is actually happening in life. Because remember here we'll all experience more than 40 losses in our lives. And all those losses come in different times, different stages. I have had a loss where I didn't even see it coming. And just connecting with the horses and have that horse connection, it just gives me time to slow down and reflect. So if you're there, if you're close or you're out there and you want more about this information, it's actually so powerful. We cannot tell enough about how this resource is so valuable for us and also for our friends. Please stop in. And we want to thank everyone who has called and booked that they're coming May 30th. We are so looking forward to meeting you all. And just come open and just everything we've shared. You don't need to take it too serious. Just
come experience it.
Come and experience it. And you know, the other thing I like most is that we'll all experience it different.
Yes.
Right? Our experiences are so different. For me, my experience was that just like come down, reflect, and then I'm able to actually think clearly without many things, right? Many distractions. So your experience could be different. So we are so looking forward, and we have one more session, which is next Wednesday about more talking about EAL and the benefits and the impacts and all the things that come with it. If you have any questions, please just message us, give us a call.
Yes.
And I'm excited, Darlene. And I want to give a big shout out to Darlene. Like, Darlene, oh my goodness, you've taken this on. This is a big resource for grief that you brought into our community. And we want to say thank you. She's taken lessons. She's got horses. Oh my goodness, she hauls the horses. And I'm like, how do you do all that? Darling, we want to say thank you, because our community needs it and we all need it. Any resource we can bring forward to help each other as a community brings us closer. And then we start connecting with each other and living life fully that God planned for us, right? We don't need to be all stuck.
No. And thank you to all the people who come out and help so far. Big hand out to my husband, I drag him out fencing.
Yes.
I drag him out to feed the horses. So special thanks to him, and special thanks to Clay. He's been painting fences and just being amazing.
Nice.
And just all the wranglers that came out and all the associates. We're looking forward to a great season where people can come and hang out, and that lives are going to be changed. And
Yes.
that's our desire, is that people will be changed after they've been through the program.
Right. Oh, that's so amazing. I mean, the list is so long. We are creating that. It's a community. Our connection and our grief resources, we are creating this community that's just there to walk this journey called life together.
Yeah.
We hold each other and to say, tomorrow is a new day. We can do this together. So until next Wednesday, please, if you know someone who would benefit from this information, or please invite them. Yeah.
Bring kids and adults and just come and hang out with us.
Come hang out. We just don't drink coffee.
No.
We actually
We'll have something. We might have coffee.
we might have coffee that day too. Okay. So until next Wednesday, thank you so much for joining us and sharing our information. Stay connected.